Welcome to this explainer. I'm stepping in as your managing director for today's session, and I need you to imagine that we are walking directly into the boardroom for a high-stakes C-suite grade proposal audit. Today, we are auditing one of the absolute most rigorous academic assets on the market. We're looking at Cambridge AS and A-Level Arabic Language 8680. Specifically, we're targeting Paper 4, Section 1, passage-based questions with the stimulus passage. Now, I want you to completely change how you view this exam. Think of it as a high-stakes corporate pitch. You are pitching your arguments to some incredibly tough Cambridge examiners. And to win their investment, which translates directly into your highest possible marks, you absolutely need bulletproof structural frameworks, highly precise data analytics, and what I call corporate-level evaluative reasoning. You can't just wing it. To really illustrate this, let me introduce you to my two junior consultants. First, there's Alex. Alex literally just walked in my office, slammed a binder on my desk, and said, MD, I've got 400 pages of Arabic vocabulary data and morphological root tables ready to deploy. Now, Alex is incredibly factual, bringing massive volumes of raw data to the table, but completely fails to evaluate the actual market risks. Alex gives me all the facts, but no evaluation. And then, right on cue, Sam interrupts. Sam says, forget all the data, Alex. We just need to pitch the cultural vibe and the author's tone. It's all about the feeling. Sam is highly creative, speaks a mile a minute, and pitches these brilliant concepts, but there's a huge problem. Sam lacks hard asset backing. No specific text case studies, no logical formulas, no textbook backing, just pure opinion. So I looked at both of them and I said, look, separately, both of your proposals are instantly rejected. But together, if we manage these two approaches correctly, they have the potential to secure absolute top-tier evaluations. So let's dive right in and figure out how to merge these skill sets into the perfect examiner pitch. Now, you might be wondering, why are we treating this like a corporate audit? Well, listen to the regulators themselves. The principal examiners are extremely explicit in their reports. They state quite clearly that Paper 4, Section 1, is frequently misunderstood. So what does that actually mean for you? It means the market is volatile. It means that poorly framed proposals or weak data structures are going to be instantly rejected in this audit. The examiners are basically acting as our board of directors here. They aren't just looking for someone who can translate a text. They are looking for top-performing candidates who exhibit deeply connected, conceptual understanding. They want to see skills that are transferable to totally unfamiliar contexts within the Arabic texts. If you just walk into that exam room and dump a bunch of facts without structure, like our friend Alex, your valuation crashes immediately. But look at the second half of that quote. As the mandate notes, it is highly rewarding for prepared students. It is an incredible opportunity if you know the framework. So let's ensure you are perfectly prepared. Here is our corporate roadmap for today's session. We've got 5 phases: decoding the stimulus, mastering the core principles, executing technical methodology, advanced critical analysis strategies, and finally, avoiding top examiner mistakes. Let's get right into it. Phase 1, decoding the stimulus passage and analyzing the market opportunity. Here's the core challenge we're facing today. Why do students find multi-stage analysis and method marks so incredibly difficult to capture? I see this exact liability in the boardroom all the time. Let's break down the dialogue. When faced with a multi-part Arabic question, Alex immediately goes into panic mode and writes a massive descriptive block of text. For instance, if the command word on the paper is qarin, which means compare, Alex completely ignores it. Instead, Alex defines every single vocabulary word in the passage, writes out the root words, but completely forgets to actually execute a comparison between the two texts. What happens? Immediate valuation drop. You answered a question, but not the one the board asked. Sam, on the other hand, reads the passage exactly once, totally skips the structure deconstruction, and writes a highly creative but entirely ungrounded opinion piece about how the author is probably feeling. Again, valuation drop. You have to understand that missing a single specific keyword like ishrah, explain, in the stimulus passage triggers an immediate devaluation on the Cambridge marking grid. You must establish causal relationships, and you have to integrate cross-topic connections that are directly grounded in the Arabic text. You can't just summarize, and you can't just guess. Moving to phase 2, mastering the core principles by merging cognitive domains. Okay, this right here illustrates the exact theoretical architecture you absolutely must deploy. We are looking at the 3 major cognitive domains: knowledge and understanding, analysis, and evaluation. Now, backstage right now, Alex and Sam are in the middle of a fierce debate about how to lay out their opening paragraph. Alex literally slams a hand on the desk and yells, "We have to define the Arabic morphological terms first. We absolutely need to break down the balagha, the rhetoric, and we have to define every single istiara, every metaphor. Knowledge marks are the baseline." Sam shakes their head and fires back, "No way! We need to maximize our return on investment right this second. We have to pivot immediately into analyzing the sociopolitical context of the author's tone. That's where the A-star valuation actually lives." As the managing director, I had to step in and stop the bleeding. I looked at them and said, "Stand down, both of you. You're both exactly half right. You absolutely need those precise linguistic definitions to establish your foundational knowledge base. That's your raw data. But you cannot stop there. You must immediately bridge that data into systematic analysis and evidence-based reasoning. If you just list facts, you fail the audit. If you evaluate the text without pointing to actual textual evidence, you also fail. You have to synthesize these domains seamlessly." Now, before Alex and Sam completely tear up each other's work, I want to point out the ultimate safety net for your evaluation, the method mark strategy. The examiners explicitly warn us that students lose massive amounts of marks simply by not showing their working. Now, you might be thinking, showing my working? This isn't a math exam. But think about it in the context of an advanced Arabic translation or a really complex textual interpretation. Let's say your final evaluative conclusion regarding a specific metaphor is just slightly off base. Without method marks, you get a 0 for that section. But if you show the problem-solving process, method marks can literally save your valuation. You secure these marks by explicitly showing the examiner how you extracted the meaning. Maybe you demonstrate your understanding of the 3-letter Arabic root word. Maybe you break down the context of the sentence structure, or you leverage the historical backdrop provided right there in the stimulus. By actively laying out exactly how you derive that meaning, you build a structural academic safety net. The examiner sees the logic, rewards the process, and your valuation stays intact. This brings us to phase 3, executing technical methodology and upgrading the evidence beam. But hold on, before we see if our consultant's rewritten response can actually secure a top-band $1 million A-star valuation, before we watch that executive value meter hit the absolute maximum, I need you to manage your own personal assets for a second. Subscribe to @AceTheExams right now and make sure you turn on all those notifications. Because no matter if your core focus is Cambridge IGCSE, O-Levels, AS, or A-Levels, this channel is your guaranteed weekly board seat to secure elite grades. Okay, assets secured? Good. Let's get right back into the audit. All right, let's look at the turnaround. We are going to rewrite a failing response out loud, line by line. On the left, we have Alex and Sam's initial combined failing response. It's a classic, low-value descriptive text block. It reads, "The author says the cities are very crowded and the environment is bad." Okay, let's be honest, that just summarizes the Arabic passage without any strategic intent whatsoever. It's entirely descriptive. Now, watch exactly how we transform this liability into a high-value executive analytical pitch. We hit a structural roadblock with that first draft, so we're going to apply a structural power-up template. Think of it like a peel framework: point, evidence, explanation, link. We apply the correct formats and the appropriate Arabic terminology. Ready? Here is the new pitch. While text A highlights the economic benefits of urban expansion, text B utilizes the emotive metaphor, the isti'ara, of a choking lung to execute a comparative analysis between industrial growth and urban degradation. Boom. Do you see the difference? We don't just say two things are different. As the Cambridge syllabus strictly notes, comparative analysis requires identifying similarities and differences, using specific comparative connectives, and crucially, supporting every single comparison with evidence drawn straight out of the Arabic text. By integrating these precise cross-topic connections and terminology, we instantly upgrade the paragraph from a low-level summary to a top-tier executive insight. The evidence beam is fully compliant. Which leads us perfectly into phase 4, advanced critical analysis strategies, the asset inventory scan. Okay, it's time for a live, interactive compliance audit. You are the consultant right now. Imagine you have an incredibly advanced Arabic sociological text sitting right in front of you. You have a 60-second countdown ticking away. Tick-tock. You need to apply this exact problem-solving framework directly from Cambridge's core expectations. Step 1. Extract. Identify the given information directly from the stimulus text. What are the hard facts? Step 2. Break it into logical steps. You need to deconstruct the syntax and the vocabulary. What are the key phrases doing? Step 3. Solve systematically. Structure your argument using that Peel framework we just talked about. Step 4. Check for reasonableness. And this is a big one. Does your interpretation actually make sense within the cultural and literary context of the passage, or are you just guessing? And finally, Step 5. Make justified recommendations. Top-scoring candidates constantly demonstrate this level of evaluative thinking by actually questioning the assumptions in the text. You shouldn't just be casually reading an Arabic text. You should be scanning it like a high-level asset inventory, actively hunting for exact data points that you can systematically feed through these 5 steps while the clock is ticking. Moving to our final structural phase, Phase 5. Avoiding top examiner mistakes by spotting the liabilities. Listen, even the absolute best proposals fail if they contain hidden liabilities. I have personally scoured the principal examiner reports to isolate the exact breaches of Cambridge marking regulations that trigger catastrophic mark drops. Let's run a spot the liability audit right now. Liability 1, forgetting proper format and losing easy marks. Basic, but it happens constantly. Liability 2, failing to check presentation conventions. Again, sloppy work loses investment. But liability 3, this is the biggest valuation killer of them all. Answers are not specific to the given context. Let me explain exactly how this traps smart students. Let's say you study incredibly hard and you memorize a beautiful, sophisticated A-star level Arabic essay about al-Bia, the general environment. You walk into the exam, you scan the paper, you see the word environment, and you immediately just dump your pre-memorized essay onto the page. You think you've nailed it, but there's a fatal flaw. The stimulus passage didn't ask about the general environment. It specifically asked you to analyze the urban traffic pollution policies mentioned in paragraph 2. Because your answer was not specific to the actual precise stimulus provided by the board, your valuation instantly crashes to 0. I'm isolating this exploit for you right now. You absolutely must extract from the specific text provided and draw conclusions that are relevant only to that exact context. Memorized dumping is a massive liability. Well, I'm proud to report that our junior consultants, Alex and Sam, finally figured it out. They successfully merged their skills. Alex brought the intense lexical data and the hard textual evidence, and Sam brought the evaluative analytical edge. Together, they applied the correct corporate formatting, grounded their arguments strictly in the provided text, and they passed the audit. The executive value meter just hit the absolute maximum $1 million A-star mark. Now, to ensure you can replicate their success in your own exam, I have distilled this entire boardroom session into 3 core executive pillars. Pillar 1, the due diligence scan. That means decoding the Arabic command words first and extracting only the highly relevant data. Pillar 2, the resource allocation matrix. You must aggressively manage your timing and perfectly balance your cognitive domains between knowledge, analysis, and evaluation. And Pillar 3, the final compliance audit. Be your own strictest examiner. Verify your results, ensure you've actively used those comparative connectives, and absolutely confirm your contextual accuracy is strictly adhered to. And with that, we conclude today's C-Suite grade proposal audit for Paper 4, Section 1. But remember, your professional academic development certainly does not stop here. Subscribe to @AceTheExams right now and enable that notification bell so you never ever miss a weekly board session. I genuinely want to see your personal asset goals on record, so drop a comment below stating your target grade, your qualification tier, and your specific subject. We are building a portfolio of success here. But before you step out of this boardroom, ask yourself this one final question. When you look at your very next Arabic stimulus passage, are you just going to be passively reading words on a page, or are you going to be auditing a $1 million asset? The examiners are waiting for your pitch. Make it bulletproof. Class dismissed.